Amir held tight to his son's toy, a small wooden bird. It was a simple thing, carved with love and care, a symbol of happier times. The toy had been a gift for his son's 5th birthday, a day filled with laughter and joy, now a distant memory. As he clutched the toy, he could almost hear his son's laughter, a sound that had once filled their home with warmth. It was all he had left of him. The war had taken everything else, his son, his home, his peace. The toy was a fragile link to a past that seemed like a dream now, a past that had been shattered by the relentless bombings. Bombs had turned his city into dust, and the cries of sad families filled the air. The once vibrant streets were now filled with rubble and despair. The buildings that had stood tall and proud were now mere skeletons, haunted by the memories of those who had lived and loved within their walls. Smoke and fear were everywhere. The air was thick with the acrid smell of burning, and the sky was a perpetual grey, blocking out the sun and casting a pall over the city. Every corner held a new horror, every street a new tale of loss and suffering. His wife, Fatima, her face full of worry, held their baby daughter close. She tried to shield the child from the horrors around them, but it was impossible. The baby's wide eyes took in everything, the destruction, the fear, the hopelessness. Fatima's heart ached for her children, for the life they had lost, for the future that seemed so uncertain. The baby's soft cries were the only sound against the quiet of death around them. It was a haunting sound, a reminder of the innocence that had been lost, the lives that had been shattered. The city was a graveyard, and they were the living ghosts, wandering through the ruins of their past.
We have to go. We can't stay. The words were a desperate plea, a cry for survival. They had to leave, to find safety, to find hope. But the thought of leaving their home, the place where they had built their lives, was almost too much to bear.
But where will we go? This is our home. The question hung in the air, heavy with sorrow and uncertainty. They had nowhere to go, no place to call their own. The world had turned its back on them, and they were left to fend for themselves in a land that had been reduced to ruins.
Amir looked at his daughter, her tiny hand holding Fatima's finger. Her innocent eyes looked up at him, filled with trust and hope. She was too young to understand the full extent of their loss, but she could feel the fear and uncertainty that surrounded them.
For her, the words were a vow, a promise. They had to survive for her. They had to find a way to rebuild, to give her a future. No matter how hard it was, no matter how much they had lost, they had to keep going. We have to try for her future. The determination in his voice was clear. They would not give up. They would fight for their future, for their daughter's future. They would find a way to survive, to rebuild, to hope. In the midst of the ruins, they would find the strength to carry on.
The choice was like a knife in Amir's heart. Leaving his wife and daughter even for a chance at safety felt like tearing himself apart. Canada. The word meant hope, a whisper of peace. A faraway place where his daughter could grow up without fear, where bombs didn't fall. Fatima cried softly as Amir told her his plan. He would go alone, find a safe way, and then send for them.
Promise me you'll be okay.
Amir held her face, wiping away a tear.
I promise. For you, for our daughter, I promise.
A loud knock came. At midnight, Officer Hamid, Amir's friend from childhood, stood at the door, his face serious.
They know you have to go now.
Amir felt a rush of fear. He had one bag, packed quickly, filled with memories and a few important things. He hugged his wife and daughter tight for one last, painful moment.
Go, we'll be together soon.
Amir didn't look back. He ran, his heart pounding like his footsteps, the fear of being caught pushing him forward. Days and nights went by quickly. Amir traveled with others, all running from the same bad dream. They walked in the dark, their hope getting smaller with every step. One night, tired and hungry, they found a small village. A woman, her face kind, gave them food and a place to stay. Her name was Lila. Lila listened closely as Amir talked about his family, his voice shaking. He talked about his daughter, his hope for a future without fear.
There is always hope. Don't ever give up.
Lila had also been a refugee. She had fled her homeland under the cover of darkness, leaving behind everything she knew and loved. The memories of her past haunted her, but they also gave her the strength to keep moving forward. She had crossed treacherous waters, faced countless dangers, and endured unimaginable hardships to reach a place of safety. Her journey was a testament to her resilience and determination. She had run from a war many years ago, finding safety in this same place. The scars of her past were still visible, but they were a reminder of her survival. She had built a new life for herself, one filled with hope and promise. But she never forgot the pain and suffering she had endured, and she vowed to help others who were in the same situation.
My story is about strength and hope, Amir. I know how you feel. I was once in your shoes, scared and uncertain of what the future held. But I found the courage to keep going, and so can you. You are not alone in this journey. We are all in this together, and we will support each other every step of the way.
Her story gave Amir strength. He felt a renewed sense of hope and determination. Lila's words resonated deeply with him, and he realized that he too could overcome the challenges ahead. He was inspired by her resilience and courage, and he knew that he had to keep fighting for a better future for himself and his family. With Lila's help, Amir got a spot on a boat to Canada. It was a small, overcrowded boat, but it was his only chance for a new life. The journey ahead was uncertain and fraught with danger, but he was determined to make it. He knew that this was his only hope for a better future, and he was willing to take the risk.
Thank you, Lila. I owe you everything. Your kindness and support have given me the strength to keep going. I will never forget what you have done for me. You have given me hope when I had none, and for that I am eternally grateful.
It was a small, shaky boat, full of people, but it was a chance for a new life. The sea was rough, and the journey was perilous, but the hope of reaching a safe haven kept them going. Each wave that rocked the boat was a reminder of the dangers they faced, but also of the promise of a better future. As the boat left, Amir looked back at the land. He thought of the life he was leaving behind, the memories of his homeland and the loved ones he had lost. But he also thought of the future that awaited him, the new beginnings and the opportunities that lay ahead. He was filled with a mix of sadness and hope, but he knew that he had made the right decision.
I'm coming, Fatima. Wait for me, my loves. I'm coming. His voice was filled with emotion as he whispered into the wind. He clutched a photo of his wife and daughter tightly, their faces etched in his mind. He promised himself that he would reunite with them, no matter what it took.
His whisper was lost in the wind as he thought of Fatima and his daughter, their faces clear in his mind. The journey ahead was uncertain, but his love for them gave him the strength to keep going. He knew that he would face many challenges, but he was determined to overcome them and be reunited with his family. The hope of seeing them again was what kept him going, and he would not give up until he was with them once more. The trip was dangerous. The big ocean reminded Amir how easily life could be lost. Storms came, food and water ran low, and the boat almost sank.
But Lila's words stayed with me. Don't ever give up hope.
He held on to that hope, thinking of his family and a better future. Finally, after weeks, he saw land, Canada. Tears filled Amir's eyes. He had made it. He was safe. Canada welcomed Amir. He found other immigrants, people who understood his sadness and his dreams. He worked hard, sending every penny he earned to Fatima and his daughter.
But even in this safe place, I still thought about the life I left behind. Leaving my family, not knowing if they were okay, made my heart heavy.
Every night he looked at the stars, picturing Fatima and his daughter looking at the same stars.
Soon, he whispered to the stars. Soon we'll be together again.
Amir's story touched the people he met in Canada. They liked his strength, his love for his family, and his hope. They helped him, giving him a place to stay and becoming his friends.
A nice lawyer helped me with the papers to bring my family to Canada. A restaurant owner gave me a job so I could earn money for my family.
Their kindness gave Amir comfort and strength, showing him that he wasn't alone. Months became years. The passage of time was relentless, each day blending into the next, marked only by the changing seasons and the flipping of calendar pages. Amir's journey in Canada was a testament to resilience and adaptation. He faced the challenges of a new country, a new culture, and a new way of life with determination and hope. Amir built a new life in Canada, a life with good times and bad, hope and worry. He found a job, made new friends, and slowly started to feel at home. But the weight of his past and the longing for his family never left him. Every day was a mix of emotions, joy at his small victories and sorrow at the distance from his loved ones. He worked hard, missing his family, dreaming of seeing them again. The nights were the hardest, filled with memories of laughter and love and the silence of his empty apartment. He often found himself staring at the family photo on his desk, wondering when he would be able to hold them close again.
One day, I got a letter from Fatima. It was a moment I had been waiting for, a glimmer of hope in the midst of uncertainty. My hands trembled as I opened the envelope, my heart racing with anticipation. They were safe, and our daughter, now a little girl, still remembered me. The relief was overwhelming. I read the letter over and over, each word a balm to my weary soul. Fatima wrote about their life, their struggles, and their hopes. She told me how our daughter had grown, how she still talked about me, and how they dreamed of the day we would be reunited. They were coming to Canada. The news was almost too good to be true. I could hardly believe it. After all the waiting, all the longing, we would finally be together again. I imagined the moment we would meet at the airport, the joy of holding them in my arms, the tears of happiness.
Amir cried as he read the letter again and again. Each time the words seemed to take on new meaning, filling him with a sense of purpose and hope. The tears were a release, a way to process the overwhelming emotions that had built up over the years. He didn't know what would happen next, but he knew one thing: his family would be together. The future was still uncertain, filled with challenges and unknowns, but the thought of being reunited with his loved ones gave him the strength to face whatever lay ahead, and that gave Amir the strength to keep going, to face the future with hope. He knew that no matter what obstacles came his way, he had the love and support of his family to guide him. Together, they would build a new life,